everyone, and welcome to our first session of our One Platform series, where we explore why every part of HR works better together. My name is Emma, and I'm joined by my fabulous colleague Camilla, who is an ELMO solution consultant. Camilla works very closely with our customers to help them get the most value out of ELMO, and she'll be walking us through the ELMO platform today. Camilla, say hi.
Good morning, everybody, and kia ora if you're dialing in from New Zealand.
Before we dive in today, just some quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded, so if you do need to drop off early or want to share it with your colleagues, the recording will be available next Monday, and you are on listen mode only. So if you do have any questions throughout the session, please use that Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom. We'll try and answer the questions throughout the demo or at the end of the session. If we don't have time to answer them live, we will follow up with you afterwards. I would like to first begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land of which we're meeting today. For me, that is the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay respects to our elders, past, present, as early innovators, and acknowledge their significant contribution to science, technology throughout land, water, and culture. So just a quick recap on what we'll cover today, where the recruitment to onboarding handoff commonly slows down, how to create a structured onboarding experience, and then Camilla will take you through a live demo of the ELMO platform and then Q&A. Before we dive in, if you are unfamiliar with ELMO software, we've been working with Australia and New Zealand organisations for over 20 years as a complete workforce platform. This is why we wanted to do this webinar series. A lot of HR professionals come to us where they're trying to better connect their HR systems to eliminate that double handling and those manual workarounds that are costing their teams hours every week, which I'm sure if you've joined us today, you will be familiar with that problem. Now, I'd like to start by asking you a quick question about your recruitment and onboarding process. There is going to be a poll that will pop up just about now. So just take a moment to click your answer and we'll wait for a few responses to come through. Also, can see quite a lot coming through. So a lot of these are coming in that middle in between section. So they're mostly smooth with a few manual specs and works, but involves quite a lot of chasing, which is the exact challenge that we are trying to solve today. The real transformation happens when recruitment and onboarding and your wider HR ecosystem actually talk to each other. So what does the data tell us? Every single year we run our HR industry benchmark report, which surveys 1,200 HR professionals across New Zealand and Australia. And last year we found that on average it takes 19 days to fill a role. The average cost to hire is $18,600 across Australia and New Zealand. 1 in 8 new hires leave during probation, and it takes 34 days for a new hire to reach full productivity. So let's put this into numbers. Let's say you hire 20 people a year and spend 12 to 18 hours per hire on manual admin. That's around $15,000 in administrative effort loss, and that's even before you factor in, let's say, that 14% who leave during probation, taking that cost to hire investment with them, and the 34 days for new hires to reach full productivity. And that's often longer if your onboarding is manual or disconnected. Why does this happen? It's simple. Recruitment and onboarding sometimes live in separate systems. You hire in one place, manually create a record in another, chase paperwork via email, and hope IT gets access requests right. That's exactly what we're here to solve today. I'm going to hand off to Camilla to show you what changes when recruitment and onboarding work as one connected journey.
Thank you very much, Emma. So what you're about to see isn't just about adding another tool stack to your already full tool stack. It's about one platform where hiring flows easily into onboarding. No double handling, no scattered documents, and no lost candidates. ELMO connects 3 critical modules that should have never been separated in the first place: the recruitment module from job posting, applicant tracking system, contracts, and the offer acceptance to onboarding, getting new starters ready for day one, and the platform HR core, that single source of truth for employee data. When this works together, the process is simple, fast, and connected end to end. Let me show you through the eyes of somebody living in disconnect right now. Meet Lisa. Lisa, she's the HR admin for a 450 plus team, and she's drowning. She handles the recruitment process and manages new starters from. So when the operational teams request 3 new hires, the manual marathon begins. First, the approval lag. She's stuck in email tags chasing department heads, the CFO, just to get the green light for that job posting. Then she's drafting ads in Word and manually posting to Seek, LinkedIn, Indeed. That's about 45 minutes per role. Then the application hits and her inbox becomes inundated with application and she loses track of who applied for what. Then the coordination dance begins. It's endless back and forth emails to schedule interviews. And the feedback, poor Lisa, she's chasing managers down the corridor for scribble notes. They all ask different questions, making it very, very hard for Lisa to compare candidates fairly. When she finally finds the one, she's back in mode typing offer letters and waiting days for a wet signature. One sign, that's when the real work begins. Tax form, bank account, superannuation, driver's license. It's all coming back on blurry photos and scattered documents and scattered attachments on email that she needs to pick everything up, verify each and every single one, and store it manually. Then the first day, because IT got separate email, the new hire arrives, but they're sitting idle with no access, no computer, no login, no pass. The result, 18 hours of manual work per hire. Frustrated candidates that applied for the role and never heard back, and new starters who feels like an afterthought with no laptop, no login, no passes. And worst of all, Lisa needs to start from scratch every single time because she doesn't have a talent pool. Now, let me show you Lisa's new world. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. So give us 1 second. This is real life software and a little bit of housekeeping as I'm demonstrating. First of all, I'm going to be looking to my right. It's not because I'm being rude. It's just that in my laptop, the camera, the screen's very tiny, so you don't want to see me squinting. I'm going to be looking to my right. Also, I am dialing in from Brisbane, so do not panic. It's not 9:30 if you're not in Brisbane right now or in Queensland. Cool. I am demonstrating on my demo environment. So my navigation bar is extremely busy, and that's because I have all of ELMO's modules turned on today. On your case, you're just going to have the modules that you subscribe to. Or if you've never seen ELMO and you have an eye that's keen for detail and you're seeing something here that you're like, oh, Camilla, I would like to see the remuneration or perhaps any other thing on your screen that catches your eyes, let us know. We will be able to help you. Cool. Today, we're going to be demonstrating the recruitment, the onboarding, having that platform HR core on the back, supporting all of this functionality. This is where Lisa's going to start. She's going to create a requisition in ELMO recruitment. Our system is position led, so all of that position information is already on the system here for Lisa. So she doesn't need to enter all of that information over and over again. Also, this is where she needs to put all the information that she needs to get that role approved and across the line. And the approval process is fully automated as well. Keeping in mind that ELMO is device responsive and communication driven. So all the approvals will have received an automated message saying that they need to approve something and the reminders as well. So Lisa doesn't have to chase department heads and CFOs for that. Once she gets approved, then instead of going to Word and typing in, starting from a blank Word document, the system already knows the job title, the department, the location for the requisition from the requisition. And to create content, Lisa just needs to scroll down and hit the AI generating button. So with one click, AI generates the content. Normally at this stage, you could ask, Camilla, does Lisa needs to take what the AI is saying? No, she can simply come in and change and add her flavor to it. And this is where it gets interesting. With a click of a button, we push this job ad to multiple job boards simultaneously. So the whole process takes less than 15 minutes rather than 1 to 2 hours like before.
Camilla, can I just jump in here? Where can Lisa actually post this job to?
Oh, great question, Emma. So we integrate with major ANZ job boards, including Seek, Indeed, LinkedIn, Trade Me for our New Zealand clients in the call, or Australian businesses recruiting in New Zealand, plus your own company careers portal. And we will also provide you with a link that you can perhaps post on your social media as well. And what is important about this, Emma, is not just about the posting. When applications come back from any of those sources, they will all fall on a centralized candidate database. So no more checking 4 different inboxes for those candidates. Cool. So with just one click out, as I like to say, one click out, multiple candidates back. Every application flows into the centralized candidate database. And look what Lisa can see. All candidates in one view. She can also see the status of their application. And there's some new functionality coming soon to this screen, Emma. So if you are not yet coming to our roadshow, I will recommend you talking to somebody in our team to come and hear more about how AI is going to change this experience completely in the future. However, she can also apply some pre-screening questions. So when the candidate clicks apply, instead of having to manually review 120 CVs, for example, if Lisa wants to ask, are you entitled to work in the country? And they answer no, they get automatically filtered to the no suitable bucket, meaning that instead of revising 120 CVs 2 to 4 hours like before, she can only evaluate a list of qualified applicants.
And I'm guessing Lisa can customize those knockout or pre-screening questions by role, Camilla?
Absolutely. That's a great question. A warehouse role, for example, you might want to ask, can you lift 20 kgs? Whilst a nursing role, you might ask, do you currently have a registration? So you can really tailor how you ask that question.
Perfect. Thanks, Camilla.
Um, Also, for those candidates that are being filtered to the unsuccessful bucket, they will not receive a rejection email straight away. That's about the employer's brand. Lisa can easily tag all the applicants and send a personalized email so every candidate gets closure. No more Glassdoor review saying I interviewed for this company and never heard back. Everybody gets an answer.
Camilla, what about those great candidates who may not be quite right for this role, but might be suitable for an alternative role Lisa's hiring?
Very nice and easy. So she can simply add them to our talent pool. So we have businesses leaving expression of interest open all year round. They've been already dealing with those applicants. They've been through the process and they are nice and warm, ready to go. This is when you become proactive rather than reactive, really. Also, keep in mind that all the candidate information will be in one place. So let's get Sophia here, for example. This is where Lisa can see any other applications she had with us in the past, education, language, experience. We're grabbing all of that information via what we call CV parsing. Also, we do understand that different roles might require different amount of interviews, perhaps panel presentation, perhaps phone screening, face-to-faces, you name it. You can really tailor that recruitment workflow. And when Lisa's ready to meet a candidate or to schedule an interview, she simply select the schedule interview button. And this is where she will enter the date, the time, pick who the interviewer is going to be, perhaps even put a link. And the software is smart enough to send notifications in an iCal file to the interviewer and interviewee as well. The interviewer, but the most important, the interview guide. This is where Lisa is going to choose what questions she wants asked. So she knows that the process is being fair for each and every single candidate. And this is really helpful as well for managers. They are going to receive an email with a link. They will have access to the candidate's profile with any information that they need to prepare for the interview, but also the interview guide with the questions. And here is where a lot of managers will want to write a 2,000-word essay on this box, but some managers just want a yay or nay. This is where Lisa can really tailor how she receives those answers. So Lisa and the hiring manager can compare candidates using real data, not just vibes and scribble notes on post-it notes. When she finds the one, or when they find the one, even easier, we want to do all the heavy lifting for you. So let me get Sophia here. I can simply use the software to make an offer. So all the contracts and offer emails will be automatically generated, which takes less than 5 minutes and not 2 to 3 days like before.
And I'm just seeing in the chat, someone's just asking about the contract templates. Do ELMO provide those, or do organizations need to bring their own, Camilla?
I get this question a lot, and that's a great question. You will need to bring your own contract templates, and that's actually by design. Employment contracts needs to be vetted by your legal team to ensure they are compliant and tailored to your organization's specific needs. What we do is that we will grab that legally vetted contract that you're bringing in and turning into smart documents. So you can have multiple templates for different employment types like contractor, FTE, you name it, or location, for example. You can simply select what template you want to offer.
Awesome. What does this look like from a candidate's perspective
Oh,
for
one of
their
my
contract? What
yeah,
happens next in the process?
one of my favorite views. So we're offering this role to Sophia. If I log in as Sophia, she will receive the contract where she will be able to accept or reject that contract. This is where she can really come in and put her signature here, full name, and accept or reject this contract. And what the software is doing now is communicating everybody that needs to be communicated that Sophia accepted the contract. It's also filing that contract against Sophia's um, profile.
Employee profile? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And because we are dealing with real life software, sometimes things don't go as planned. So let me just refresh my screen here and accept this contract again. There you go.
Yeah, Camilla, we're just still seeing the signed.
Yep. Um, There you go.
Perfect.
Sorry about that glitch. It was probably my internet connection. So once there's a sign, it's filed, everybody received notifications, and now Sophia will receive access to her onboarding portal. So before day one, she will have a welcome message or perhaps a video or even a Google Maps here to where to go on your first day or what train to catch, what to wear. Perhaps create an elevator pitch to ease the nerves on your first day. She can also see names and faces of her team so she can get familiar with them and even stalk them on LinkedIn as well, as I like to joke. The most important part is that they will then be able to provide any documents that you need. And once they provide the documents, is attached directly to the employee's profile, and we are tracking the expiry date. Or Lisa will be able, oh, Sophia in this case, will be able to provide diversity questions, personal contact, next of kin, bank account, superannuation, all of that very important information that we need for HR core.
How does the system know that she's putting in the right number? I know sometimes I've personally popped in the account number in the BSV by accident.
I've done that many times. I copy the BSV and account number on the same line, and then we will validate those numbers. Those are really important because this is what we will then have it on HR Core against Sophia's profile. We will then later push this to your payroll of choice. So it's really important that we get this number right. So we validate that.
Awesome. And I guess a question from me for Sophie, how do we not overwhelm her with the onboarding process and make it personalized for her?
Oh, nice and easy too. Glad you asked that question. I do know with market is an onboarding solution, but realistically, we are workflow solutions. So there's a workflow engine running on the background. And it sounds very complex, but it's not. I have a colleague of mine that described this as HR Lego. It is like downloading Lisa's brain into a workflow. It's what we call a no-code workflow, where you can just drag and drop boxes on a sequence of event that you want happening. So for example, once I start my process, I will ask my newbie to do the profile task, complete the superannuation, complete the bank account form, accept any policies I want them to accept, and also I can add conditional logic. So for example, if this client or if this role is client facing, I want them to tell me what size uniform they wear. And I want this 5 days before the assignee start date, because it takes me 5 days to get that organized. And then it goes back to my workflow. So it's personalizing as we go.
Awesome. What about IT access and training that the new starter has to do?
That's a great question because IT access, it's always a common point of failure on first days. People arrive and they don't have a laptop, they don't have a login, no access, etc. Now, our workflow triggers an alert to the IT. As I like to explain on my demos, it takes a village to bring a new person on board. It's not just Lisa's responsibility. She will need to send tasks to the IT team, for example. And this is where you can really choose where tasks are being sent to with all the information that the IT team needs to provide them. And Lisa can just sit back and have a holistic view of who's sitting in what task. Also, this is really great for if there is any compliance training required for that particular role, you can really start scheduling those training modules. And even further, you can apply some conditional logic. So what I did here, I created a very simple one. Is this role office space? If so, then they need to do the office training. If not, then we carry on with the rest of the training that we need to do. And the cherry on top as well is that you can also add surveys to your workflow. So I can really test the water and see how my new starters are going, if they have everything they need, how they feeling about their first day. So as I like to say, someone could accept the offer on Monday, complete the onboarding paperwork on Tuesday, and start the mandatory training on Wednesday, all before they walk through the door.
Awesome. We just had this question in the Q&A, and I think it's quite a practical question. What if we hire contractors or casuals who may not need all this onboarding?
Absolutely. We are not forcing everybody to go through the same 15-step process. A full-time permanent role, you might want to have a full onboarding experience with all the documentations. However, for casual employees, you might want a lightweight workflow, just a TFN, super availability. Contractor, even simpler. You just send the contractor documents or compliance documents or maybe training if they require to have training. On a actually on a high volume casual hiring season, this is where companies can save most of the time. So let's say we're getting 80 people for Christmas because they're doing all the process themselves, they're doing the self-service. Lisa's not chasing 80 people for their TFN, the bank account. This is where organizations can save hours of work on a single hiring season. And because this workflow tool is really powerful, can be used for other HR processes as well, like offboarding, for example. So when someone resigns, the resignation letter goes to the manager that triggers the workflow and notifies everybody on the organization that needs to be notified, including IT, to retrieve all of those assets back, or perhaps cross-boarding, returning from parental leave, you name it. But I'm not going to have time today to cover all of those. We will have to save this for another webinar. But now, Emma, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to ask you to share the presentation.
Awesome. You can see that okay, Camilla?
Yeah, I can. Thank you very much. So let's see the difference in Lisa's day-to-day life. At 20 hires per year, that's around 360 hours saved annually. But the real impact is that Lisa moves from a reactive admin to a proactive talent acquisition partner. She builds relationships, she creates talent pipelines, she focuses on strategic work. She does the work that she was hired to do, not just chasing people down the corridor for notes. And Lisa's candidate, they experience a professional modern hiring journey that makes them want to join the organization. So it's not, and they just not relieved that they went through the process. When they arrive on the first day, everything is ready for them. So they have that sense of belonging as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Camilla. Thank you for taking us through the Elmo platform and letting me interrupt with my million and one questions. As always, I know you could be talking about the software for hours. Before we go through the key takeaways, I just wanted to pop up a poll in terms of if you'd like to do a next step with us. So that's just take a moment to select the option that best suits you, whether you would like to, book a demo with Camilla to see the full functionality or learn more about Elmo if you're our current customer but potentially has any questions or just exploring. So I'll just take a moment. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. So, what we'd like, let me highlight three big takeaways that we want you to leave with today. One, when your recruitment and onboarding live in separate systems, you're not just losing hours, you're risking the candidate experience and burning out your team. Two, data flows once, flows everywhere. Candidate to employees happen seamlessly. Your team is focusing on the people, not the process. And finally, it's not just about saving time. The bigger transformation is the strategic capability. When your team isn't drowning in admin, they can build talent pipelines and actually think about their employee value proposition. Because the truth is, every part of HR works better together. That's the power of one platform. We'd love your feedback on today's session as well, just before we jump into Q&A. And apologies, I swear this is the last poll that I'll be taking to you. Let me pop that up quickly. So yeah, if you could just select a response, your input makes us improve every time we host these webinars. So please take a moment to share your thoughts. And while that's popped up, let's go into Q&A time. I am conscious that we are almost at time, so let's just go through quickly. And again, if we haven't answered your question, we will get back to you. So, Camilla, I'm seeing a question. We use a recruitment agency. How does it work with the recruitment process in Elmo?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. I didn't have time to cover this on my demo today. When you're creating the job posting, there is a button that you can loop in your recruitment agency. This will send a link to the recruiter of your choice that you have linked to the software as a vendor, and they can load the candidates there. So they all follow the same process. They all come through the same funnel. No more emails, chaos from recruiters.
Awesome. A question about compliance documents. Can we set automatic expiry reminders?
Absolutely. That's a great time saving of the software. Once I load, for example, my driver's license, put the expiry date, almost keeping an eye on that date. And you can even put some reminders, escalation, and open for recompletion. So that becomes a cyclic document.
Awesome. Thanks, Camilla. What payroll systems does Elmo integrate with?
Love that question. Get asked this every single demo is the same thing of asking how long is a piece of string, really. We work as a payroll marketplace. So we believe that different companies will require different payroll systems. And as you grow, that might change as well. So we integrate with a few payrolls. However, we also have an open API. So if you're very attached to your payroll, we can connect with them and push any information that you require.
Awesome. I think you touched upon this in the webinar. Can you use workflows for offboarding, Camilla?
Absolutely. One of my favorite things about using the workflows for offboarding is when you launch a survey on the workflow. So you do an exit mini survey asking them, because they're not always going to tell the manager the real reason, but if they receive a survey and they know that HR is reading that, they might be open to tell you perhaps other problems that they had on the day to day.
Awesome. I think we're at time. So just want to say a big thank you for everyone who has joined today. The recording will be sent on Monday, and our next webinar will be focused on performance and remuneration next Friday. So hope you can join us for that. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Thanks for joining us.